Hi guys! So we decided to start out our channel by answering some of the most basic questions that we come across. And I think the most basic question that needs to be answered and kind of gotten out of the way is simply, what is a pagan? What does it mean if someone claims to be a pagan? Now, I will get into different traditions, backgrounds, and practices in future videos. This video, I simply want to provide a definition to the term, or to be more correct, to the term modern pagan. The most common definition I hear is someone who is non-Abrahamic, someone who is non-Christian, non-Muslim, or non-Jewish. And while that is not a completely inaccurate definition, I feel that it tends to lack a little bit of substance, because there is a growing tradition, a growing number of people in the pagan community who do include Abrahamic spirituality, Abrahamic traditions, and some Abrahamic beliefs into or with their newer or modern pagan beliefs as well. So simply say that someone who is Abrahamic is not a pagan is not quite accurate. Instead, I think that it's best to say that someone who is a pagan fits into one of four categories. The first category being someone who has a nature-based or an earth-based spirituality. These are people who have a great honor and great reverence for the earth, for nature, and for everything that includes. The second group are people who belong to these Reconstructionist faiths. These are modern reincarnations, or modern incarnations, I guess I should say, of ancient belief systems or culturally based belief systems that no longer exist today. The perfect example is modern day Druids. They are doing their best to live up to or to recreate the Druid belief system and traditions, but because we don't have those in written form, we can't do that exactly. And because they're not in existence, in a continual existence, we're not doing things exactly the way that they would have 2,000-3,000 years ago. The third group is the group that I personally fit into, and that is the group that tends to blend those first two, that has a nature-based spirituality, an earth-based spirituality, but at the same time looks to these old cultures, these old world beliefs and traditions, and these old world mythologies, in order to find, for lack of a better term, personal truth. Sometimes you'll find people that follow a specific group of or specific culture and combine that with an earth-based spirituality, and sometimes you'll find people, once again like myself, who tend to look to all of them and find their own truth within them, and then combine that with a more modern earth-based spirituality. The fourth group and the final group do not tend to consider themselves a part of our modern pagan community. However, because a number of those of us who are considered modern pagans tend to or may look to these belief systems for traditions or ideas, if nothing else, I want to include them. And they are the people who are following traditions or practices that are still in existence from pre-Christian days. Native Americans, Inuits, you'll have tribal beliefs in Africa, or Eastern religions such as Hinduism, Buddhism, that existed prior to or came about at the same time of Christianity, independently of the Abrahamic faith, and continue to be in existence today. They haven't been recreated. Instead, they have continued throughout. Again, these people tend not to include themselves in the pagan community, but I feel because so many people who are have an interest or look to these groups for answers or ideas, that it's important to remember that they are technically pagans, even though they're not modern pagans. Okay. Hopefully that provides a little bit more of a poignant definition than just saying anyone that's not Abrahamic is a pagan. And hopefully that answers some questions for those of you who may have found this video looking for a specific answer to that question. I know that it may seem confusing, it may seem a little overwhelming, but the very fact is the pagan community is made up of many different groups and individuals, and each one of them may have varying beliefs and traditions and practices, and it's really difficult to create any master list of what makes a pagan. So really, if someone fits into one of those 4 categories that I discussed, they can very easily consider themselves pagan and do it accurately. And I think that that was really what I wanted to bring across. Hopefully I did it well, and hopefully I included everyone that needed to be included. If you have any additional questions, or if you disagree with what I have to say, I would love to hear about it. So make sure you leave me a comment or inbox me, and I will happily get back to you as soon as I can. And maybe we'll even turn your questions or comments into future videos. So make sure you leave them. Thanks, and make sure to visit us on Facebook.